What if I told you that the Mayan Theater, yes, the one closing its doors in downtown LA, was once the scene of a full blown scandal that had actors in handcuffs, vice cops frothing at the mouth, and the entire city in a moral tailspin? In 1928, just a year after opening, the Mayan wasn't just hosting glitzy plays, it was ground zero in the war between the Roaring Twenties liberation and the pearl clutching vice squad. The show was The Captive, an adaptation of a French play by Edouard Baudet, a psychological drama about a woman engaged to a man but tortured by the love she had for a woman. No sex, no nudity, just longing, silence, and lesbianism. And that apparently was enough to set the city on fire. Opening night, a triumph. The play, which had made it 160 shows in New York City before being shut down for obscenity, had been taking over headlines for weeks in anticipation of its West Coast premiere. Glamorous Parisian gowns, a stunning cast led by Broadway's Ann Davis, screen actress Olive Tell, who invited over 60 celebrities to the opening, by the way, actors Kenneth Thompson and Charles Miller. I mean, it was a stacked cast, and their performances were so good it was criminal, especially to some of the more easily offended audience, such as the ministers, worldly women, and Chief Deputy City Prosecutor William V. Crowell, who called the play rotten, which sent Dr. E.J. Lickley, the LA City Prosecutor, on a full-blown witch hunt. The very next day, both producers, Ed Roland and A. Leslie Pierce, were arrested for corrupting public morals. The day after that, the cast, all dragged into court for the crime of acting too well in a show the city had decided was degenerate. Over just 5 days, there were 4 separate arrests. Vice cops camped out backstage, headlines screamed sex play, and yet this scandal only made it more popular. Both matinees and nighttime showings sold out. The audience would literally wait out back in between acts to see the actors carted away to jail. The audience themselves were even in threat of arrest, but it just piqued their curiosity more. And in the midst of all that chaos, a curveball. The city actually allowed a special matinee to go forward, but only because the proceeds were going to the Red Cross to aid survivors of the St. Francis Dam disaster, which had killed over 400 people just days earlier. All while, City Prosecutor Lickley called the play mental pornography and said, and I quote, "It is not what is done in the play, it is the feeling it produces. Heaven forbid anyone feel anything." Let's not forget, these are the same officials who quietly profited off the prostitution rings they pretended to be shutting down, a point some reporters did not hold back from expressing. After a circus court trial that included reading the play aloud to the jury, everyone was found not guilty of putting on a morally degenerate play. But it didn't matter. The powers that be pushed through a brand new ordinance to ban any play that dared portray degeneracy with even a hint of sympathy, which is code for no more queer people on stage, thank you very much. But here's what they didn't count on. The Captive didn't disappear, it became legend. For many queer Angelenos, it was the first time they saw a story that even remotely reflected their truth. They came in secret, they came in fear, but they came and they saw themselves. So as the lights dim on this next uncertain chapter for the Mayan Theater, remember, it wasn't just a venue, it was a battleground, a place where queer stories were told, arrested, censored, and still somehow remembered.